In this video, we're going to be going through the full range of Yongnuo Speedlite flashes. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to us for more photo and video equipment reviews just like this. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Hypop, or visit our website www.hypop.com.au. Let's get into it. So I've got in front of me here 14 of the current Yongnuo Speedlite flashes. We're actually missing one flash here, which is the YN660, but we've got the majority of them here in front of me. So let's go through the different ranges that Yongnuo have, because it can definitely get confusing in terms of all their different models available and what they're compatible with, etc. So firstly, we've got them separated into three different groups here. So on the left of me here, we've got the manual flashes. So these are all speedlights with manual and no TTL capabilities. In the middle here, we've got flashes that have slave TTL and master TTL capabilities. And then on the right of me here, we've got flashes that are compatible with the Canon RT wireless system. So just to break them down, looking at our manual flashes firstly, we've got the YN560EX. So the YN560EX is one of the older flashes from Yongnuo. It's a 560 range. It also has released the 560 IV. So you may have seen previous models which are called the 562 and the 563. So it's basically a similar model to the 560 range. It's just one of the very first models. The main difference with the new 564 is that they've included the internal receiver system to be compatible with the RF603 triggers for Yongnuo. So that's the latest model. It's the 560 Mark IV. And then moving on in terms of the other models in the manual range, you've got the Yongnuo YN720. So the YN720 is a lithium-ion battery flash. So this is different to the previous 560 range, because the 560 range is only compatible with AA batteries. So the lithium-ion battery allows you to have a lot more flashes out of it, as well as an increased recycle time. So it's a quick look at the 720. And then lastly is the 860. So the YN860 Li also has a lithium-ion battery. Similar to the 720, it also has a faster recycle time. It's a manual flash. We'll go through more of the details shortly. Now, looking at the TTL range, we've got YN565s, 568s, and 685s. Now, going through some of the differences, firstly are the 565s. So the YN565s, there's Nikon versions and Canon versions. Now, with these two here, they're actually slave TTL. So that means they're actually not master flashes. You'll require a master flash such as the 568 or another master flash from either your Canon or Nikon brands. And these will work as slave TTLs with them. So if you've got your master flash on TTL, these will trigger off the same through TTL as a slave function. So these are slave TTLs. And then moving on up from there is the 568EX. So the 568EX, these are the full master TTL flashes for Canon and Nikon once again. Now they're up to the third model of this. So there's a Mark III of these. There's previous models, obviously, the Mark I and the Mark II, but this is now the Mark III. These are the latest ones currently on the market. So these ones here have compatibility with the 622 system, the YN600 system. These are full master TTL flashes, so you can consider them similar to Canon flashes. So in the Canon range, maybe like a 580EX, and then in the Nikon range, maybe something like an SB800 or SB900 and 910. And then looking at the next ones up from there is the YN685s, also in Canon and Nikon once again. So these ones here have that 622 receiver built in, so you can work with them. They're actually got a stronger guide number, so the guide number from the 568s are 58. These ones here are guide number 60, so you're reaching at that full sort of output with your Speedlite now in terms of the guide number. These have that inbuilt receiver as mentioned, and these are for Canon and Nikon. Now moving on from the manual and then the TTL range, we're looking at the Canon RT range. So these are the RT range that are compatible with wireless, the Canon RT wireless system. So the wireless system, the popular flash in the Canon model is the 600EX-RT. And Yongnuo have their own version of that. So there's the 600EX-RT, the first version, and there's the 600EX-RT Mark II. So this basically works off the wireless RT system. You can actually use the E3 RT controller, the Canon controller. Yongnuo have their own version, so you can control them wirelessly and shoot them off camera. And that's Yongnuo's equivalent versions of that. They've also now got the 686EX-RT. The main differences between the 600 and the 686 is that the 600 only works with AA batteries, and the 686 works with a lithium-ion battery. So once again, because it has the lithium-ion battery, you have improved recycle time with the flash. And lastly is the 968EX-RT. So this is one of the newer flashes from Yongnuo. It's still part of the RT system, the 968. The main difference with this one here is it only works with AA batteries, but it does have this little nifty LED light positioned at the front there. You can use it as sort of like a modeling light, or also just a continuous light if you're shooting a bit of video, or if you're just wanting to use a continuous light source instead of using the flash itself. So that was just a quick run through on the 3 different types. Let's go into more detail as to what's compatible with what. So let's take a closer look at the manual flashes. We've got 4 of the manual flashes here in front of me. We're actually missing that one flash we mentioned earlier, which is the YN660. So that one there is part of the 560 range. It's one of the newer models of the 560 range. So let's look at the 560 firstly. So the 560, there's 2 different models that are available currently in the market. Well, there's actually a few more, but these are the 2 latest ones. So the YN560EX and the YN560 IV. So the 560EX is actually one of the older flashes where it has compatibility with Yongnuo's manual triggers, which are called the RF603s. It has the inbuilt receiver system, so you're not having to set them up with a receiver underneath the flash. You have the transmitter. You can use that. They've actually included the same functionality with the YN560 IV. So the YN560 Mark IV has the same inbuilt RF603 compatibility. It's a manual flash and basically works with any camera as long as it has a metal hot shoe. So the 560 range is Yongnuo's entry-level flash range. They are on the cheaper side, so looking back at those 3 different determining factors when selecting a flash with Yongnuo, compatibility, features and price, these are definitely on the lower price point in terms of compatibility. They're manual flashes, so basically work with any camera with a metal hot shoe, and also features. So these are manual flashes. If you're not needing TTL and you want to do everything manually, then these are definitely the best way to go. So those are the 560 range. You've also got the YN660. So the YN660 is basically just a larger brother of a bigger brother of the 560 range. So it's a guide number of 60, whereas these flashes here are a guide number of 58. So it's just slightly stronger, but in terms of its size, it is also a little bit bigger. They're all operated by AA batteries. So now looking at the other manual flashes that Yongnuo have recently released, these are lithium-ion battery flashes, and then manual flashes, it's the YN860 and the YN720. So the YN860 and the 720 are actually quite similar, and what does make it even more confusing is that the 860 is a higher number, but is actually a lower model flash, if that makes any sense. So the 860 and the 720, so with the YN860, it actually has a 1800 milliamp lithium-ion battery, which is the one that you can see on the side here. So it's not operated by AA batteries. It has the lithium-ion battery, and it actually allows you to get those 700 flashes out of a full charge. It also increases your recycle time to 1.5 seconds, which is better than just AA battery operated flashes. Whereas the YN720, which has been announced after the 860, has actually got a larger lithium-ion battery provided. So the lithium-ion battery provided is a 2000 milliamp battery. It allows you to shoot 750 full power flashes, so you can see 50 more full powered flashes than the 860. It also has just like a larger screen. The controls are pretty much all the same. So in terms of features, these are quite the same. The only determining factor, if you're going to choose them, will be if you want that 50 extra full power shots. Recycle time's the same, guide number's the same at 60. It's just the batteries that are pretty much the main differences there. So that was just a quick look at the manual range. Let's get into the TTL range. So I've got the TTL flashes in front of me here. There's 3 different flashes for both Nikon and for Canon. So these ones here, the first ones are the YN560. So the YN565s have been around for quite some time. There's a YN560EX for Nikon and a YN560EX II for Canon. I know that there are 565EX3s out on the market now, but these are basically all slave TTL flashes. They have manual mode and they've got slave TTL mode. So what that means is you require a master TTL flash to trigger off these flashes in TTL mode. So these are the first ones in the range. The second ones in the range are the YN560EXs. So there's a 568EX3 for both Nikon and for Canon. These are basically your full master TTL flashes. They have a guide number of 58, so they're full powered flashes. And they're similar to the actual brand flashes themselves, so similar to something like an SB800 or a 900, 910, and a 580EX. These ones here are the full flashes from Yongnuo's range. Now, The next ones down from there are the YN685s. The YN685s, they're basically larger versions than the 568, 565s. You can see they're actually physically a little bit larger as well. And with the larger size comes a little bit more output. So it's got a guide number of 60. And lastly, it actually has another feature built in, which is trigger compatibility. So trigger compatibility with the 685s includes the manual triggers from Yongnuo as well as the TTL triggers. So those are the RF602, 603s and 605s, the manual triggers, and then also the YN600EX-RT II triggers for Canon or for Nikon. So they have the receivers built in, and that allows you to just simply purchase a transceiver or a transmitter and set up your channel and group and talk to these flashes directly, the 685 range only. So in terms of deciding what features you need and what compatibility you need to just determine if you've got Nikon and Canon, obviously. And in terms of features, you want to know if you want to go for a guide number of 58 or you want a bit of a stronger flash, you go for the 685s. And then lastly is if you're planning to shoot it off camera, if you have triggers already, go with the flashes that have the compatibility with those triggers straight off, or otherwise, look to the compatibility with the 685. It has compatibilities with both the manual and TTL triggers. So the last group of flashes we'll be looking at are Yongnuo's range of compatible Canon RT wireless system flashes. So we've got the YN600EX-RTs here with us, got the 600EX-RT and the 600EX-RT Mark II. The main difference with the 600EX-RT Mark II is that it now includes or has the addition of the Canon optical wireless master mode to it, whereas the previous model didn't. So these flashes here are full powered flashes, they're guide number of 60, they're TTL flashes, they're compatible with Yongnuo's YN3RT wireless controller, so you can shoot them off camera without the need of having a receiver underneath them. You just simply configure the ID and the channel and group of the actual flashes, and it works off camera. It also has high-speed sync of 1/8000th of a second, so these are full-powered master flashes in the RT range of Yongnuo. So the next flash up from the 600 range is the YN686EX-RT. The main difference between the 686 and the 600s are that the 686 includes a lithium-ion battery. So this lithium-ion battery is 2000 milliamps, and it also allows you to shoot 600 full-power flashes with the 686. It also increases the recycle time to 1.5 seconds at full output compared to the 600s, which are about 2 seconds at full output. So you lose about half a second there in terms of recycle time. If recycle time is important to you, perhaps you're a wedding photographer or an event photographer, then the 686 is definitely a flash to look at if you're shooting Canon in the RT wireless mode. Now the next flash from there is called the 968EX-RT. This is basically quite similar to the 600EX-RTs, except for a couple of different features. So this one here requires AA batteries, so you need 4 AA batteries. But the main difference, I suppose, is the inclusion of the LED light at the front here. So the LED light is a small continuous light that you can use for assisting for autofocus or just using as a continuous light in low light situations. So that's the main difference with this flash here. In terms of other features of the 968, it's still a guide number of 60, so it's the same as the 600s. It has high-speed sync, 1/8 up to 1/8000th of a second. It's got TTL mode, obviously, and it's also compatible with the YN3RT wireless controller. So those are the 4 different flashes available in Yongnuo's range to suit the Canon RT wireless system. So that was a quick run through Yongnuo's full range of Speedlite flashes. I know it can get confusing with all the different models out there on the market for Yongnuo Speedlights, especially the older models. So what we'll do is we'll put up a compatibility chart on screen as well as in a link below in the description so you guys can take a closer look as to what flashes are suitable for you. Thanks for watching, guys. For more videos just like this, subscribe to our channel. Give this video a thumbs up if it helped you in any way. Feel free to leave in the comment section down below any questions about the Yongnuo Speedlights. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Hypop, or visit our website www.hypop.com.au.